problem. Marianne Butler, nerdbot.com. Cool. Hi, guys.
Hello.
All right.
Hey, so season 2 is a hell of a thing. Just watched all 8 episodes that they sent us, and
Oh, wow.
that build to the confrontation that takes place on the moon was certainly an exciting ride. Was that always the plan for season 2, that it would hit that point at some point, a type of armed conflict on the moon?
Yeah, we had said season 2 would be a Cold War piece, and we talked about it being some version of the Cuban Missile Crisis in space. So we always knew that sort of the introduction of weapons on the moon and the confrontation between the Soviets and the Americans would be sort of the defining set piece, and that everything was going to kind of arc towards that ending.
So one thing that I wanted to ask you guys the last time I was able to interview you was if you find that the US space program is inherently fueled by kind of mixed optimism and failure, because there seems to be this balance between the two things, that you can't have one without the other. And how much of that, or even at all, are you mentally aware of that when writing, creating, doing this amazing series?
We do talk about that. I mean, one of the ironies of the show from the beginning was the idea that the failure to get to the moon first, ironically, was the impetus for the big success of our version of the space program. So we've always tried to keep that idea in mind, that things that felt like setbacks and disasters in the moment could, in the span of time, actually propel even greater achievements, whether it was on a personal level or it was on a political level. And that was one of the interesting things about the show, was to see that sort of interplay.
Also, I mean, they're doing something extraordinary. Do you know what I mean? These people are launching into space, and I think sometimes we don't even realize what a momentous task that is, or achievement. And seeing it at play in a TV show, I think, is fascinating, because you're trying to bring that to people in the audience to show them what goes into something like this. And the fact that we're actually able to achieve spaceflight is a pretty miraculous event.
I still get excited anytime I watch any type of launch. It was a family thing that my family was always very big on, that we're celebrating human achievement and what can happen when you're focused on a goal. And I love that For All Mankind does that a lot. Like that's such a big part of what comes through and why I love it. Was there a particular thing in season 2 that was really difficult to navigate, from the point of view of how do we pitch this? How do we get everyone on the same page? How are we going to make this really translate well to our audience?
I think the trickiest thing has always been sort of the character journeys, and making sure that the character journeys made sense. You know, the biggest thing we're doing in season 2 really is jumping ahead 10 years in the lives of characters that you've already met and that you hopefully love. And so, who are they 10 years later? And there was a lot of internal discussion and debate about who they would be. You know, people don't change in certain ways, and yet their lives evolve in many other ways. So those journeys took a lot of time, and figuring out exactly, what's Karen going to be like in 10 years, what's Ed going to be like, and on and on, and Tracy and Gordo and everybody else, and having fun with it, and yet not getting too crazy with it, where you felt like you had really lost a connection to the characters that you set up in the first season. That was probably the biggest challenge.
Well, I think also we have such a large ensemble cast, and you want to make sure everyone's getting their dues. So I think it's really important, and I think the writers have done such an amazing job making sure all of those arcs, even if they're small, are meaningful, because we have so little time with some of the characters.
Is there a spot in American space history that you're really
Mary,
excited?
I'm very sorry. That is all the time we have.
Oh, okay. Thanks so much, guys. It was great to see you.
Thank you.
Here.
Bye.
Thank you.